Stupidity is not feared by society. Because stupidity is predictable, it accepts it, even celebrates it. It repeats the rules, nods, and agrees. The smartest person in the room who doesn't follow the rules is what society fears. It's likely that you have experienced this in minor, embarrassing ways. In a meeting, you pose a straightforward inquiry, "What's the evidence?" And all of a sudden you're labeled difficult. You are negative when you draw attention to a contradiction. When you don't applaud a clearly flawed notion, they call you arrogant, too intense, and overthinking. It's because you broke the trance, not because you insulted someone. The harsh reverse is that intelligence isn't frightening because it's better. The disruptive nature of intelligence makes it frightening. It reveals the covert apparatus that all others rely on to feel secure. The courteous lies, the masks of society, the unwritten contracts that preserve fragile egos. It makes the gap between what individuals say and what they desire clear. Furthermore, most individuals prefer comfort over the truth. This was viewed with icy clarity by Arthur Schopenhauer. According to him, human beings are driven more by a blind inner force, desire, vanity, status, hunger, and fear than by reason. For most people, reason is a servant rather than a compass. It comes after the impulse, after the feeling, and creates a narrative that elevates the impulse. Because of this, groups prefer beliefs that convey belonging over accuracy, morality that doesn't demand introspection, and optimism that doesn't require thought. Therefore, they unintentionally become a threat when a bright individual enters the room and begins to see through it, to notice the manipulation behind the concern, the uneasiness behind the confidence, and the motivation behind the grin. Because you cannot be controlled if you are not mesmerized. You cannot be used if you cannot be made to feel guilty. Additionally, you make everyone else realize that they are acting if you refuse to fake. Because of this, the most intelligent people frequently feel alone. They are unable to avoid the performance, not because they despise people. They are able to hear what is not spoken. They see the cowardice masquerading as niceness. After observing how the mob rewards conformity and punishes honesty, they are informed that their mindset is the issue. It appears to be team culture in the workplace. It appears to be respect in families. It appears to be don't make it awkward among friend groups. Sometimes they are locks, and other times they are virtues. By keeping the truth to themselves, they maintain the peace in the room. And even when you are right, you are viewed as the issue the instant you express yourself clearly. The uncomfortable question that should keep you listening is this: why does the group automatically attack the one individual who brings clarity into the room if intellect is so valuable and society says it values progress, truth, and innovation? Schopenhauer's diagnosis. Society runs on illusions, and intelligence breaks them. You must abandon the idea that truth prevails in society if you want to comprehend why intelligence frightens people, not Schopenhauer. According to him, society is an organism created to maintain hierarchy, lessen anxiety, and maintain emotional control. Only when the truth fulfills those purposes is it acceptable. The truth turns into a threat when it doesn't. Schopenhauer's central thesis is the will, a blind force that drives human conduct to desire, comparison, competition, status, and pain avoidance. People want to think of themselves as logical beings who make unbiased decisions. According to Schopenhauer, that myth is flattering. The majority of what you refer to as thinking is really the ego defending its predetermined course of action. The will moves, the emotion makes its decision, and then reason appears like a lawyer, polishing the tale so you may still be respected. This explains why two persons may have different moral convictions after considering the same facts. Evidence was never the issue. Identity was at issue. It concerned the conclusion that safeguards their comfort, their tribe, and their sense of self. Reason merely explains, it does not guide. Put that inside a group now. Truth in a group is more than just a collection of facts. This is a social gathering. It has repercussions. It erodes confidence, reveals ineptitude, and jeopardizes reputations. It compels people to acknowledge their uncertainty. Furthermore, uncertainty implies standing alone without a script, which is frightening to the typical mind. Schopenhauer's perpetual comedy becomes cruelly true at this point. Theater is society. People pretend to be someone else and wear masks to hide who they really are. The kind co-worker, the father with the wisdom, the faithful companion, the religious individual, the capable leader. Furthermore, most people don't intentionally lie. They are acting in a way that maintains their respect, safety, and approval. The audience's approval is necessary for the performance, which is the issue. The character feels authentic if everyone is applauding. The performer panics if someone stops applauding or if they see the fissures, because the actor is defending a persona rather than the reality. They are defending the appearance that their position is stable. It is for this reason that bright people are called negative. They withdraw the anesthesia, not because they are naturally gloomy. They pose a query that brings the room back to reality. They draw attention to a paradox that everyone had been subtly disregarding. They identify the speech's motivation. They refuse to accept a reassuring story just because it maintains a good atmosphere. And to those who live on illusion, that act, bringing reality back, feels violent. Consider the number of social customs that rely on obliviousness. The meeting at work, where everyone acts as though the plan makes sense. The family get-together, where everyone acts as though the toxic dynamic doesn't exist. Everyone in the friend circle acts as though the funny friend isn't harsh. Silence and collective denial allow these systems to endure. That is disrupted by intelligence. It discloses motives in addition to facts. Behind moral indignation, it exposes envy. It exposes the vulnerability that lies beneath conceit. It exposes the manipulation that lies beneath worry. It exposes the principles that conceal status games. And the enchantment is broken when reasons are revealed. Individuals must face their actions. They must face the things they have been putting up with. They must face the discrepancy between their stated identities and the purposes they truly fulfill. That is the main danger. People with intelligence don't just provide information. They break up the handy narratives that keep the group cozy. The backstage machinery are illuminated by them. Additionally, the actors appear absurd when the lights are turned on. When society feels vulnerable, what does it do? Seldom is the truth-teller thanked. Clarity is rarely rewarded. Rather, it safeguards the illusion, because illusions are emotional havens rather than merely mistakes. They prevent shame from being felt. They prevent individuals from feeling insignificant. They prevent individuals from confronting their own cowardice. According to Schopenhauer, being intelligent does not make the public despise you. Because you make it more difficult for them to sustain their self-deception, the mob is afraid of you. Most people would prefer to be observed by a crowd than by the truth, and you give them the impression that reality is watching them. And that raises the following, more sinister query. If the majority of people are unwittingly maintaining illusions in order to maintain their social safety, When someone repeatedly breaks the spell, what do they do to them? When brilliant people are punished by groups, it rarely resembles a formal trial. That's not how quiet it is. The eyebrow has been raised, a shift in tone, an abrupt separation, a joke wrapped in a smear. We fear your clarity is not what the group says. You are the problem, it says. After that, it handles you as you are. According to Schopenhauer, this isn't personal, it's biological. Groups act like living things. The organism attacks when its comfort, status, order, or common narrative are in danger. All three are also at risk from intelligence. The first is that weak egos are degraded by intelligence. Being impolite is not even necessary. You can relax. You are able to be courteous. Before you pose a question, you can even give someone a praise. It won't make a difference because the ego hears the suggestion rather than what you say. You might be wrong. Imagine a meeting at work. A senior offers a strategy with obvious flaws that you can spot in 5 seconds. Everyone nods because they can sense the social penalty of disagreement, not because they are persuaded. Asking a straightforward question, what happens if the numbers don't hit that target? You raise your hand. Alternatively, have we tested that assumption? For a brief while, the room becomes silent, and you sense the change. Not out of curiosity, not appreciation, anxiety. No one remarks, "Good catch," following the meeting. "You didn't have to challenge him like that," they remark. Or, "It was awkward because of you." Or the age-old, "You're thinking too much." That isn't a criticism of your reasoning. It's an attempt to protect their ego, because the plan wasn't the only thing you questioned. It endangered a person's standing. Furthermore, saving face takes precedence over the truth in a status-driven organization. Vanity is Schopenhauer's term for this. Being perceived as defeated is intolerable to people. Even the prospect of appearing foolish can incite animosity. The delicate ego despises mirrors, and your intelligence turns into one. The group punishes you for making someone feel inferior, not because you were incorrect. And it gets worse because an ego that has been embarrassed stops looking for the truth. It wants to get even. You have a label now. Your future remarks are now subject to suspicion. You turn into the guy who always has a problem, the contrarian, or the negative one. The group's immune system is attempting to neutralize you with that designation. The second reason is that social hierarchy is undermined by intelligence. Truth is not inherently rewarded by groups. Dominance, charisma, seniority, popularity, or emotional control are all rewarded. Because of this, the person who should be in charge is frequently not. Whoever the group emotionally submits to is the leader. And because intelligence presents reality as a substitute authority, it jeopardizes such surrender. This is why when one individual comes forward with the truth, family relationships can become toxic. Many families have an unwritten rule that says, "We won't name what's wrong." The addiction, the deceit, the partiality, and the unsaid harshness will not be addressed. Everybody plays a part. The golden child is one. The scapegoat is one of them. The peacemaker is one. The clown is one. Because no one tinkers with the gears, the family system functions like a machine and endures. After that, you mature. You become more aware. You begin to see trends. You begin to ask, why do we act as though this didn't happen? Or, why does every argument end with guilt? All of a sudden, you are not treated as mature by your family. It views you as a threat. Because you're not merely confronting someone. The hierarchy that maintains everyone's emotional positions is being challenged by you. The system as a whole must be restructured if you stop playing the position of the fixer the silent one, or the one who accepts responsibility. Systems also detest being reorganized. It causes anxiousness. What then occurs? You end up being blamed, not because you caused the disorder, but rather because you jeopardized its stability. Instinctively, the group concludes that punishing the individual who points at the fire is simpler than putting it out. This is what Schopenhauer would refer to as herd comfort. Individuals will rather endure recognized patterns of suffering than take a chance on unpredictability. Furthermore, bright people create doubt by declining to follow the conventional wisdom. The third argument is that intelligence jeopardizes the emotional consensus of the tribe. Due to the internet's ability to magnify it, this is the most brutal and modern type of punishment. Being right doesn't help tribes survive. They thrive by spreading a story that gives its adherents a sense of superiority, safety, and righteousness. Emotional glue is created by that story. And since certainty is the drug and nuance destroys it, introducing nuance is the worst thing you can do to a tribe. This is seen in dog piles on the internet. Someone shares an oversimplified moral tale with a definite hero, villain, and call for indignation. Chants fill the comments. The group is becoming closer. Then you calmly inquire, is there another explanation? Or, do we know the full context? You are viewed as a traitor right away. Not incorrect, a traitor. They don't provide you an explanation for their answers. Why are you defending them? They accuse in response. You contribute to the issue. Educate yourself. Correcting you is not the aim. In order for the tribe to safeguard its emotional accord, you are intended to be marked as dangerous. Envy and the fear of being outwitted are Schopenhauer's lenses in this case. Your inquiry raises the possibility that the tribe is acting impulsively rather than honestly. Because it calls into question the tribe's morally upright self-image, such implication is intolerable. In order to regain the sense of righteousness, they attack you. Because of this, educated people frequently feel punished for thinking aloud, because thinking is seen as treachery in tribal contexts. Doubt is viewed as treachery. Additionally, the purpose of the verbal and social aggression in the mob is to teach you to be silent. Here's the hard reframe for anyone who has felt rejected for being honest. Being honest does not make you unlikable. Because you pose a threat, you are punished. Tribal comfort, hierarchy, and vanity are all upended by your clarity. It makes people confront things they'd prefer to ignore. And that leads to the pivotal moment. Clever people must learn strategy rather than martyrdom if society penalizes intelligence. The truth doesn't have to be shouted in every room. You must understand which rooms are worthy of it, and which will merely penalize you for bringing light into them. Being smart in a social environment has a hidden cost. You are continuously torn between acceptance and authenticity. Not once, not in a big way. Every day, you make little choices that mold your personality like a stone carved by water. You become aware of it when you sense that internal break just before speaking honestly. The quick calculation. Will the mood turn against me if I say what I truly think? You've been taught that clarity comes with a cost by enough minor setbacks. So, you begin making silent payments. Self-censorship is the first pitfall. To be loved, you narrow your horizons. Your language becomes toothless as you soften it. You find humor in things that don't make you laugh. You act as though you share views that you know are unfounded or lazy, because you would lose your sense of belonging if you didn't. You develop social fluency by remaining silent. The bad news is that it does work. Because you're simpler to fit into their comfort zone, people like you more when you're less authentic. However, Something within of you erodes each time you do that. You begin to lose respect for yourself. Once you lose respect for the room, you start to feel like a performer in a show that you no longer support. And even in the presence of others, you feel lonely, since you can see the performance. That loneliness does not necessarily indicate a broken person. According to Schopenhauer, it can indicate that you're aware. Just as pure air separates from smoke, depth separates in shallow surroundings. It's not conceit, it's physics. However, self-censorship is frequently followed by a second trap: resentment. This is the result of ingesting too much truth over an extended period of time. Your focus shifts from connecting to winning. You spoke with disdain. You give harsh corrections to others. You get a feeling of power when you expose idiocy, therefore you like doing it. On the inside, it's retaliation for all the times you were misinterpreted, ignored, or penalized for being clear, even though you convince yourself you're simply being honest. This is the point at which intelligent people turn against themselves. Schopenhauer's will corrupts more than just the masses. Everyone is corrupted by it. Even the smart are motivated by feelings of superiority, jealousy, and pride. The ego may utilize intelligence as a tool to exert control, and after that, you are serving your identity as the one who sees, rather than the reality. Intelligence may either liberate or inflate you, which is the uncomfortable mirror, and both will be punished by society. Clarity is punished for upsetting comfort, while arrogance is punished for upsetting harmony. The intellectual person thus lives in a state of tension. How can one maintain their integrity without being intolerable? How can one maintain relationships without betraying oneself? Self-censorship is not a sustainable way of life. It makes you feel hollow. And resentment cannot last a lifetime. It makes you ruthless. What is the actual solution then? Do you fully retreat and accept the cost of loneliness? Do you keep quiet and preserve your tranquility? Or is there a third way, controlled expression, where you pick your battles, talk intelligently, and maintain your mental clarity without isolating yourself? The Playbook. How to stay intelligent without becoming a target. Here is the playbook, and it's not a pretty one. Being intelligent is not something you do. You have to safeguard it. You will be punished by the audience if you utilize it theatrically. It turns into armor if you use it wisely. Start by downplaying your intelligence. Keep your superiority to yourself. People shouldn't be corrected for sport. The objective is to remain effective, not to demonstrate your intelligence. When you shine too brightly, envy awakens. Letting people misjudge you is sometimes the best course of action. It maintains your tranquility while reducing resistance and friction. Next, pick arenas. In public places, show is valued over truth. Nuance does not prevail in group conversations, comment sections, or meetings with insecure leaders. If you must talk, do so in private. Slow down if you must disagree. Written instead of spoken. Reactive over calm. Since time kills the emotional momentum of the crowd, time is on your side. Third, rather of stating facts, pose questions. Directly stating the truth can cause ego defense. When questions show the truth, pride is overcome. Socrates uses that as disguise. Ask, how did you arrive at that? Rather than, you're wrong. What would make you reconsider? What is the proof? Inquiries reveal whether a person is even capable of thinking honestly, in addition to challenging ideas. Fourth, keep your peace. Some people are performances rather than relationships. They want an audience, not a discourse. Being far away is not unkind. Distinction is distance. Stop spending money on things that drain you, because your attention is a currency. Additionally, keep in mind the punchline. Bright individuals are not despised by society. It despises the revelations of the wise. Your life becomes peaceful once you stop expecting belonging from others who are in need of an illusion. Your task is to recover one truth this week and identify one area where you keep your thoughts to yourself in order to be accepted. Where do you feel that being truthful has cost you?